Welcome to DC Direct. I'm Sally Ihan. This week we have a special show to mark International Women's Day. So we're going to be talking about an issue that's close to the hearts of many women here in the US, and that's childcare reform. It's an issue that's being debated on every level in American politics, and we're interested to know what you think. How do you find childcare here and around the world? Share your thoughts on Twitter, Facebook and YouTube at TRT World and join in on the conversation. Some researchers say that American childcare falls short of other Western countries by being under-resourced and deeply fragmented, resulting in a vastly uneven quality of childcare and access to services. So where do the problems lie? I've come to meet Emmeline Funes-Donis, a stay-at-home mum who's debating the pros and cons about going back to work. Emmeline and her husband Guillermo have 5 children. After years of juggling 2 jobs and subsidised childcare, there is some relief that 4 of them are now in the state-funded school system. But fitting within the school schedule still remains the challenge.
Biggest hassle is drop off and pick up. Who's going to drop them off? What if I have to go in earlier? They have before care, they have the option, that's $100. $100 times 3, in our case with the older ones, it's a lot. On top of that, have somebody pick them up in the evening, that's another $200. And it's like, okay, is it really worth me going back?
Did you ever have a conversation with your employer about trying to find hours that would fit in a little bit better with your schedule?
They were like, your hours are 3 to 11 and 3 p.m. through 11:30, and that's it. And after supposedly a period of 9 months, you could switch over. And I was trying to see if they did like a 9 to 6, you know, that kind of helped. I can drop off. When I said could I have these hours, it was no, you can't have these hours. This is your hours and that's it. Right now, what I am looking is for the right hours, basically. Something that fits their schedule, but the pay also has to be at least, I have to at least make $18 an hour to be able to make half of the hours. $18 an hour, I feel comfortable, I can pay. It would still be half of my salary when I pay babysitter.
Emmeline feels that the inflexibility of childcare doesn't reflect modern-day families, something policy consultant Diane Browning says is one of the biggest issues for working mothers.
Back in the 60s, less than half of our families with young children aged 0 to 3 were working, and now that number is closer to 78%. That's 11 million families that have children aged 0 to 3 that need childcare. They're in the workforce.
We know that women are bearing the burden of most of the childcare in America. What are the different policies that are being put forward to address this debate?
There is some agreement, and I think that where we find the agreement with right now with Republicans and Democrats is subsidizing childcare for working families. What we are seeing now is the conversations going around universal childcare, a larger federal investment to subsidize childcare to higher levels of income.
Research shows that some of the disadvantages of subsidising childcare is that low-income families don't see the financial gain from holding down a job and then they resort to welfare. Are there some policies that are trying to address this cycle?
We have to look holistically, I believe, at the system. And we have to provide incentives to that mother to maintain her income so that she is not, so as her income raises, she's not having to pay more and more and more into childcare, so she never feels like she's getting ahead.
There are more women in Congress than ever before, and I'm on Capitol Hill to meet one of them, Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett. She says that just by strength in numbers, there's possibility for change. We've spoken to mothers and policy experts this week about the disconnect between what mothers and parents in general are experiencing versus the policy that's in place. You're a professional woman, a lawmaker with 5 children. How do you address that disconnect, and do you see the policies for childcare and working families as a really important issue?
I think that the Democratic caucus, and because of the diversity that we have, that those factors come in and they are part of the discussion. You know, we have women who have been really champions of this for a long time. Rosa DeLauro out of Connecticut, Barbara Lee in California, and I think that they have always kind of brought those to the forefront. But I think just us being there and sitting in the room and being in all of these committees, that it's interconnected, and so that's something I think that we're doing a much better job of in the coming year. Mm-hmm.
And with more women in politics, there's a renewed drive that the policies and practicalities of childcare will become a shared responsibility.
We have to all realize that it's a problem we should own. You know, whether we are a parent, whether we are a young person, whether we are a grandparent, whether we are a business leader, whether we are a politician, this is our problem. This is our future, and this is our generation.
Did you ever think, oh, maybe I shouldn't have had as many kids?
Yeah.
Oops.
Like, oops. Yeah. There was a time where I was like, why did I have so many? But I was like, this is the saying that I've always thought, like, God would not give me something that I cannot handle. So that's how I put it. That's how I look at it.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Be sure to join us on Twitter, Facebook and YouTube at TRT World, and share your comments on employment and childcare issues and join in on the conversation. Until next time on DC Direct.